30-year-old women do not want to tell you guys that they had a bad character in their 20s. You know, they treated good men like they were bad, and they treated the bad guy like they were good. They didn't want to tell you that they was very narcissistic in their 20s. That it was just all about them. So what they did was they knew that the hood dude, the thug, the guy that sold drugs would trick off money just to smash these women. And these women went for it because they was narcissistic. They was selfish. 30-year-old women do not want to tell you that they have sold their bodies to a ton of criminals, to a ton of drug dealers, to a ton of guys that did a lot of wrong stuff, that had bad energy. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that they have a ton of spirit ties with guys that had bad energy in their 20s, dealing with guys that beat on them, dealing with guys that constantly disrespect them, staying with guys that just talk to them any kind of way, staying with guys that didn't love them, staying with guys that treated them like trash. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that when it came down to the bad guy, she gave him the world. She let him drive her car around the neighborhood while she was at work. She don't want to tell you that she let the bad guy, drive her car, and while she thinks he's selling drugs, he's really sleeping around with other women. And she knew it. She knew about it, and she still stayed. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you this. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that in their 20s that they really wasn't a good person. They was a very selfish person, had a delusional mindset, had a toxic mindset. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that in their 20s that they've been ran through. They have been ran through by a ton of men that didn't love them. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that they have a ton of baggage. Yes, because of the hurt and the damage that they have put up with and they accept it in their 20s. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that they were so selfish that they sold their bodies to drug dealers in the streets. You see, they didn't want a good guy, a guy that had sense, a guy that was, that was smart, that was wise. They wanted a trick in their 20s because they was extremely narcissistic. And what a narcissistic woman does, a narcissistic toxic woman, she used her body to get materialistic objects out of men. She don't want to tell you that she did that with a ton of guys. She sold her body to a ton of guys, to the thugs, to the street dudes. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that the reason why they didn't want a good guy that did the right thing in their 20s is because their self-esteem was so low that they feel like they didn't deserve him. That in their 20s, their life wasn't together in their 20s, so they couldn't keep up with a good man. They couldn't handle a good man. 30-year-old women they don't want to tell you that now, since they're in their 30s, that they're looking for a guy that they can control and manipulate with money, with what they have, with their apartment that they're living in, their house that they're living in. You know, they want to. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that the reason why they want younger dudes that's in their 20s is because they want to be in control of the situation. You see, they got their life together probably now in their 30s, but they want a guy that's in their 20s that don't have his life together so she can look down on him, so she can pick on him, so she can control him, so she can belittle him. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that in their 20s, they was not nice. They was ratchet. They was mean to good guys. They 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that the only time they wanted, you know, to deal with a good guy is to use them for attention and for an emotional tampon. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you guys that in their 20s, when it came down to a good guy, she thinks that, you know, since he's not doing illegal things, since he's not, you know, a roughneck, talking to her any kind of way, disrespecting her, 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you guys in their 20s, those nice guys, those good guys, the reason why they didn't want them, because they thought that they was feminine, because those good guys treated them with respect. They thought they were soft because those good guys treated them with respect. Yeah. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that in their 20s that they was not really smart women. They was not smart women. They was not smart when it came down to selecting a mate. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that the reason why they chose a ton of no good guys in their 20s is because their soulmate that they chose, that toxic guy that they chose, it was a reflection of them. Their personality wasn't good. They were mean. They were bad. They were slick. They were cheaters. They're 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that in their 20s, they were cheaters. Thirty-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that when it came down to a relationship that they messed up. Maybe they did choose a good guy and they messed that relationship up. They're going to always play the victim. They're going to always tell you about the toxic relationships that they was in. They're not going to tell you about the healthy ones that they was in, that they treated that good man really poorly. They used him. They disrespected him. When all he wanted to do was love her, show her that the love that she deserved. But she left him. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that in their 20s, they left a ton of good men. They didn't stay with those good men for a long period of time. Because their self-esteem was so low that they feel like they didn't deserve that good man. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that the reason why they chose the bad boys, the boys that disrespected them, the thugs, the criminals that treated them bad, is because she thought that she could change a bad guy good. Yeah. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that in their 20s, the reason why, they didn't pick the good guy is because he was not a project. He was too good. You know, she didn't see an issue in his life. So she couldn't get, you know, so since she couldn't fix anything about that good guy to get an ego boost, you know, off of it, she chose the bad guy because she think that she can change him to make him, you know, do better in life. So once he do better in life, she can say, oh, yeah, he's acting like that or he's like that because of me. 30-year-old women don't want to tell you that they was all about ego when they was in their 20s. Yeah. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that they have a ton of anger inside of them and a ton of insecurities. 30-year-old women, they don't want to tell you that they have been hurt. Guys, I hope you guys got something up out of this.